You know that feeling? You achieve something huge, something you've worked so hard for, but instead of pride, this deep, sinking panic washes over you. You kind of look around the room and have this secret thought, I don't belong here. You're just waiting, thinking, it's only a matter of time before they all figure out I have no idea what I'm doing.
You feel like a complete fake, just about to be exposed. Well, if that sounds familiar, then this explainer's for you. Because, and this is the important part, if you're constantly doubting your own success, you are not incompetent. Nope. Your brain is just playing a very specific survival game, and we're about to find out exactly what that game is.
All right, let's start by unpacking a really fascinating idea. Chapter 1, the high standards paradox. See, you might think feeling like a fraud comes from a lack of confidence, right? But what if it's the exact opposite? What if it's a direct result of having standards that are just incredibly high?
So there's this common myth out there that feeling like a fraud just means you're not skilled enough. But the reality? Well, what psychology actually tells us is something totally different. It suggests that your internal standards, the ones you hold for yourself, might just be set impossibly high.
Here's a good way to think about it. When you have this crystal clear picture in your head of how something should be done, anything less than that perfect picture can feel like a total failure. And the thing is, high intelligence often comes paired with these really demanding internal standards, which, you guessed it, can quickly spiral into harsh self-criticism and this constant fear of not measuring up.
But where do these impossibly high standards even come from? I mean, they don't just appear out of nowhere. To figure that out, we need to go back in time a bit. Let's dig into Chapter 2, the Childhood Rulebook. This is where we'll see how our brains were first wired to connect success with love.
There's a key idea from psychology that really helps explain this. It's called Conditional Positive Regard. So what is that? It's basically what happens when, especially as kids, we only get love and approval after we achieve something or behave in a certain way. Our brain learns a very, very strict rule. You are lovable only when you provide value, not just for being you.
And the result of that kind of conditioning? It's powerful. Because you were praised for what you did instead of who you simply were, you start to confuse your own worth with your function. You stop asking yourself, am I valued? And instead, you're constantly asking, am I useful? And so every new success doesn't bring any lasting satisfaction. It just raises the bar higher, becoming another standard you feel like you have to maintain to avoid that deep fear of being abandoned.
This constant grinding need to prove your worth leads us right into Chapter 3, the overthinking brain. Oh yeah, this is where we get trapped in that loop of self-doubt, analyzing every single little decision and running these endless mental simulations of everything that could possibly go wrong.
And it turns out there's a really fascinating scientific reason for all this overthinking. Research actually shows that higher cognitive ability is directly linked to more analytical processing. Or to put it simply, your really smart brain is also incredibly good at finding flaws, especially your own. So in a strange way, your own intelligence is actively working against your confidence. Now, all this intense self-analysis often fuels another psychological state called rejection sensitivity. You become hyper-aware of any tiny potential sign that you might be excluded. Maybe you brush off compliments because you're constantly worried that someone's going to look too closely and discover you're not as smart as they think. Your brain starts to connect even minor critiques to this deep-seated fear of being replaced. Okay, so with all of this self-doubt and fear of rejection, what's the point of it all? This brings us to a really crucial way to reframe this, which we'll call Chapter 4, the survival strategy. What if this feeling of being a fraud isn't a flaw at all? What if it's a protective mechanism your brain developed to keep you safe?
And believe it or not, research actually backs this up. Studies have found that when emotional support is inconsistent early in life, the brain adapts. It develops self-reliance and perfectionism as actual survival tactics. You push yourself relentlessly to be perfect because, deep down, relying on others feels risky, and taking a break feels like letting your guard down.
So now that we kind of get the why behind this feeling, the big question is, how do we actually break free? Well, that's exactly what Chapter 5 is all about. Let's move from just understanding the problem to taking action, with some clear, practical steps to start changing this pattern for good.
Okay, here are 2 really powerful steps you can start taking today. First up, recognize. The next time that harsh inner critic starts talking, remind yourself, this is not proof that I'm incompetent, it's a side effect of my highly analytical mind. Second, separate. You have to consciously practice separating your personal worth from your daily output. A simple but super effective way to do this is to keep a running list of your undeniable wins. That way, when your brain tries to tell you it was all just luck, you'll have objective evidence to look back on.
And look, if you take away just one single thing from this, please let it be this. Feeling like a fraud isn't a weakness. It's a survival strategy. Think about it. By constantly testing and criticizing your own work, you've been protecting yourself from the sting of external rejection. In a strange way, it's a testament to your brain's incredible ability to adapt and keep you safe.
I really hope this explainer helped you understand yourself a little bit better and maybe, just maybe, gave you a new perspective on these really tough feelings. If this was helpful for you, please give it a like, subscribe, and definitely turn on those notifications so you don't miss our next one. And most importantly, please take care of yourself. You are not a fraud, and you really, truly deserve to feel proud of your achievements.